Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Kat and today I'm going to be doing 4 looks plus a review of the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I have already uploaded a first impressions which I will link up here so you can go and watch that first if you would like to, and I'll also put a link in the description box as well. But this is, in case you haven't seen it, the latest palette from Beauty Bay's own line. It's one of their 20 pan eyeshadow palettes. So it's the same format as the Sunset Horizon, the Book of Magic, the New Romantic, I think the Valentine's Day one was, and then now there's this one. It's a really beautiful colour story. I bought it because I love grungy, colourful eyeshadows. They are my favourites to play with. If you would like to see me create 4 looks with this palette and also give my final review, then just keep on watching. Good morning, welcome to look number 1. I'm feeling, if I keep yawning, it's because I've not been awake for very long. Sorry. So what I want to do today is, I think I want to do reds. I'm thinking like a smoky red wing with the shade Heat and the shade Fossil. That's sort of what I'm thinking for today's look. I think that would be really cool. Just like a nice blown out smoky red look is what I'm kind of feeling. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with, I think I'm gonna start with Poppy, and I'm just gonna like put this through the crease. I'm gonna blend it out. I'm gonna wing it out. We're just gonna sort of build it up and wing it out. Sorry, I just fixed the lighting a little bit so it was less blown out. So I've just wiped off that brush a little bit and I'm gonna go into the shade Snow, just like a little touch of it to blend sort of in the inner part. Just lighten this up a little bit. Can you see that difference? I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it just helps sort of blend it out, lighten it up a little bit, especially if you've like brought a shadow a bit too far in, and it's also made it a little bit pinky, which is quite cute. That's like the only benefit I see for these like beigey shadows, and even then that's only really on like my skin tone. I think that looks really nice. I think it's blended really nice. So now I'm gonna go into the shade Raw and I'm gonna deepen it up a little bit on the outer V and keep this quite concentrated, not blend it out too far. And then I'm gonna go back with my big fluffy brush, a little bit more of Poppy, and just blend some more. I'll fix the shape when I do my base. Back in with a little bit of Snow, just to get those edges. Cool, so that's the crease work done. The edges are very messy, but as I said, I will fix that. So now we're gonna go into the shimmers, and I think I'm gonna, are my nails short enough? I think my nails are short enough that I can do it with my finger. So I'm just taking some NYX glitter glue and I'm just gonna pat this all over my lid. I want this to be just like shimmer all over. Don't necessarily want like a cut crease or anything. And then I'm gonna start with the shade Fossil, which is this like lighter, I think it's described as a copper on their website, and I'm gonna pop this in the inner corners. That is so pretty. I don't know why I used this hand but that is super pretty. It's really sparkly. And now I'm gonna go into the shade Heat, which is the like red to orange, I think it's described as. And I'm gonna pop this on the rest of the lid. And I might even bring it over Fossil a little bit. That is gorgeous. That is so pretty. And then I'm taking the brush that I used the shade Raw with a little bit extra, and just get like blending those outer corners. What do you think? I think that's really pretty. It's very fiery. Okay, I'm gonna quickly pop off camera. I'm gonna do the rest of this eye. I'm gonna do my base, and then we can come back and we can do the lower lash line. Okay, so my base is on and the other eye is done on the top. So on my under eyes, what do I want to do for the lower lash line? Do you know what I'm actually thinking? I think for my lower lash line, I might do the shade Marigold, which is the mustard shade. I think I'm gonna smoke that all along my lower lash line. So I'm just gonna take like a little stubby brush, and I'm just gonna pop this under my lash line. So I'm just taking, this is a dual ended brush, so I'm just taking the fluffier side and just blending this out a little bit. For my inner corner, I'm just going to take some more of that Fossil shade, and I'm just gonna pop it in there, and I'm gonna kind of wrap it onto my lower lash line. And I think that's it. I'm gonna hop off camera again. I'm gonna do my mascara, my eyeliner, my lipstick, and we can regroup. Okay, and this is look number one all finished up. What do you think? I really like it. I like this like fiery wing. I really love the shades. I love the colors. I love these shimmers across the lid. They're absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, let me give you like a closer look so you can see like the blending and everything. For my eyeliner, I went for the Beauty Bay pastel eyeliner in the shade Ice Lemonade. I just felt like a yellow, like a really bright yellow would look quite cute, but I didn't want like a neon yellow, so I went for a pastel yellow, and I quite like it. I like the juxtaposition. I like it, makes my eyes look really bright still. So I'm really happy with it. And then I've used the Kiko Extra Salt Mascara as always. It will be what I use for every look in this video. And for my lips, I use the Satin Matte Lipstick from Makeup Revolution in the shade Latte. I just find with like bold eyes like this, I just love to like basically like just block out my lips, and that's what I feel like this lipstick does. And it has a bit of a yellow undertone, so I think it goes well with the like mustard and stuff. So yeah, I do feel like the mustard shade is like fading a little bit, but obviously I don't prime underneath my eyes. I have a little bit of concealer under there, but the concealer I use kind of sets itself. So I feel like this shade would probably work best like on a base, on a sticky base maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go and eat my breakfast now. So that's it for look number one. Let's move on to look number two. Good evening, welcome to look number two. I'm just gonna prime my eyes with same eyeshadow primer that I'm using the whole time, and I want to do a smoky green look. I'm going to do sort of what my heart wants me to do when I sort of open this palette, and that is like a murky green look. So I'm gonna be mostly working with this row here. What I'm kind of thinking is like mustard yellow in the front of the crease, the lighter green on the outside of the crease, deepening up with the dark green, and then putting lime on the lid. That's sort of where I'm heading to. just the exact look that I thought of when I sort of saw this colour story. That's what I'm thinking for this look. So I'm going to start with Marigold, which is the mustard. And on a fluffy brush, I'm just going to pop that like up here. I just love doing two-toned creases. Like, I just think it makes quite a simple look a bit more interesting if you've got the two tones in the crease. Okay, so that's the mustard built up. I think it looks really nice. It's really saturated. I mean, you saw it on my lower lash line in the first look. It was kind of, it wasn't building up, but I think that looks really nice. So I'm now gonna go into the shade Leaf, which is this sort of murky green, which is just exactly the kind of thing I like. And I'm going to build this up on the outer half of my crease. So this sort of C shape is going to be the green. Okay, so that's the green put down. I do think it's clinging a little bit on both my eyes, but I have already worn eyeshadow today and washed it off, and I'm redoing it. So when I do eyeshadow twice, sometimes my eyes just don't like it, but we're gonna keep building on it and we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna take this pointy pencil brush and I'm going into the shade Eucalyptus, which is the sort of like darker murky green, and I'm gonna pop this in the outer corners here. I'm not gonna take it too high, and I'll blend it out with Leaf. So I'm going back with the brush that I used for Leaf, if I can find it, and just blending this out. I'm finding as I'm blending, the greens kind of, can you see there? It's kind of like blending away. So I'm just gonna pack it back on, but yeah, it kind of just disappeared. That was very strange. I feel like I've got a very harsh line in between the two greens now. I'll just come in a bit closer so you should be able to see that blend a little bit better. Like, in the end, it looks okay. It's not the best, but it's not awful. But now we're gonna do the green shimmer all over the lid, which I'm really excited about because it's just gorgeous. So I'm very excited. So I'm just taking a brush, like a flat brush, and I'm gonna do like a faux half cut crease shape. So I'm going to do this a bit more structured than look number one. And then I'm going to go into the shade Lime, which is this sparkly lime green here. Same sticky side of the brush. My desk is so messy, I'm destroying everything. But anyway, I'm going to pick this up and I'm just going to press it where I just put that glitter glue. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna pick up some on my finger as well to really punch it in and intensify it. That is so stunning and like absolutely saves the look. And then I'm gonna quickly pop some of Ray in my inner corner. It's that light duochrome on the top row. It's got lime, it's like a yellow to lime green, I think it was described as on the website. So perfect, yellow and green. So okay, so I'm gonna quickly hop off camera. I'm gonna do the rest of this eye. I'm gonna do my base, and then we can come back and we can do lower lash line and finish it up. Back in a second. Okay, so that is my base on and both eyes caught up. As you can see, the dark green just keeps like patching away. I haven't even touched this and it's just like disappearing. So not a huge fan of this dark green, really. I don't understand why it's working the way that it's working, but it keeps, yeah, just like dusting away and fading when I'm not even touching it. So yeah, this dark green unfortunately is a bit of a dud, which is a shame because it was a pretty shade. I go back in with a little bit more of Marigold, which is the mustard, and just build up at the front a little bit. If you're new here, hi, I like to put my eyeshadow like in my eyebrows. I think for my lower lash line, what I'm actually gonna do is I think I'm gonna do mustard on the inner corner, so the shade Marigold on the inner corner, leaf on the outer corner the same way as in the crease, but then I'm gonna deepen up the outer corner of my lower lash line with Earth, which is the dark brown. So I'm gonna start with Marigold and pop that in the front half, and then take some of Leaf and put that in the outer half. And then I'm gonna dip into Earth, which is the dark brown, and just put that on the very outer corners. Okay, so that is it done. They're definitely not the best greens I've worked with. I definitely have nicer greens in my collection that I prefer. Is the look overall pretty? Yes. But as soon as I raise my eyebrows, you can see that massive patch missing. And now, I don't know whether it's the green underneath or if it's the dark green on top, but I think it's the dark green on top. It's just not wanting to stay. But anyway, I'm gonna quickly pop on some eyeliner, some lipstick, and some mascara, and we can finish this look up. Okay, so here is the finished look. I decided to just go like full drama, full bold, so I went for a dark lip as well. I mean, I'm going straight in the shower after this video, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, let me give you a close-up of this look. You can see that big old patch. It's just, I just don't understand it. Like, this eye is nowhere near as bad. It's not the best blending I've ever done. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the most skilled eyeshadow applier, user, but this is not my fault. This is a fault of the eyeshadow. So yeah, I just think that this dark green is maybe just a bit of a dud, which is a shame. I really hope that it's not the lighter green. The lighter green was kind of gripping to places, but I don't know. I feel like I need to use it like across the whole lid to get like a real good feel for it. But anyway, my eyeliner is the Elegel Shockwave Neon Eyeliner in Gotcha, and my lipstick is the Kaleidos Lip Clay in Mahogany, the really dark brown. I love it. I love this lipstick, and I love the combination of green eyes, brown lips. I mean, this green shadow is the only eyeshadow that I've had a bad experience with so far, so hopefully it's just one dud in the palette. So anyway, this is the end of look number 2. Let's move on to look number 3. Hello, welcome to look number 3. I haven't used this in a couple of days, so we'll see how this goes. So for this second look, I want to do something green and minty. I really want to give Eucalyptus another go, which is the dark green that I used in look number 2, and I want to try putting that shade down first and then blending that out. So I think I'm going to use Eucalyptus, mint, maybe some forest, and the shade Breeze. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you that. So I think I'm going to use the shade Eucalyptus, blend it out with forest and mint, and then use the shade Breeze as well. And I don't know whether to do this as a halo eye, just to kind of mix up the shape a little bit. So that's my plan. Anyway, first things first, I'm going to take Eucalyptus, which is the dark green, and I'm going to start popping that on the inner corners and the outer corners. I usually don't do my eyeshadow like this. I usually don't build from dark to light. I do sometimes, and I just want to see if that's the way that this shade needs to be used. Crease, it's very sloppy, but we're gonna blend it out. I apologise if you can hear Kelvin watching the football. But now I'm gonna go into the shade Forest, and I'm gonna blend that out, and then that'll add a bit more sort of tealy mintiness to this. And we'll see if that blends better than when it was layered. Definitely blending better than it did when it was layered on top of Leaf. So that makes me feel better, because I was really worried about these shade, like the murky greens not working. But I think it's just the technique you need to use. Just needs to be a little bit different, which is fine when it's like a couple of shades in the palette, you know. I'm gonna clean off that brush a little bit, and I'm gonna go into the shade Mint, which is the mint, as you can imagine, and I'm just gonna blend all of the edges so we have like a nice gradient. And I want the mint to be sort of like the joining factor in the center of the eye as well. So yeah, back in with Eucalyptus, the dark green, to just deepen it up, re-intensify it. That has blended a lot nicer today than it did the other day. Definitely a lot nicer. I'm glad. I don't know what's going on at the moment, but when I film, I get really bad earache. Okay, I think I'm going to use other colours on my lower lash line. Like I might use maybe some blues. I'm not 100% sure, but for the centre of my lid, I'm going to use the shade Breeze. I think for my lower lash line, I might do Ivy and Moss. Like Ivy on the outside, Moss on the inside. I'm not sure yet. I'm conflicted. There's just so many things I want to do with this palette that I struggle to like choose what I'm gonna do. Like there's so many like color combinations and stuff that I want to do, so it is hard. But yeah, I'm gonna take some glitter glue, not on my finger. I'm gonna take some glitter glue just on a flat brush, and I'm just gonna tap in the center of my lid. And then yeah, as I said, going into the shade Breeze, which is the like tealy shade. Oh, it's so pretty. And I'm gonna pop that in the center of my lid. That is so gorgeous. And then I'm just gonna pick some up on my finger just to intensify it right in the center of my lid. That's so pretty, look at that. It's got like a really bright, like silvery gold kind of flip, like a warm silver is the best way I can describe it, because it's not quite gold, but it's not quite silver. I don't know what the in-between would be, but I'm gonna pick up just a little bit more of Eucalyptus and just blend the edges. Do I want to do a little bit of moss? I think I am. Just on my pinky, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of moss, and I'm just going to pat it on each side like that. So it's like the teal into the green. Just a tiny pinch. Yes, I love that. I love that moss shade. Okay, I'm gonna quickly hop off camera. I'm gonna do the rest of this eye. I'm gonna do my base, and then we'll come back and we'll do the lower lash line together. Okay, so I've just popped my base on and finished both eyes. So let's go on to the lower lash line. It is also raining quite heavy. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that. My cat is just sitting on the windowsill just watching. It's fascinated. Okay, so for my lower lash line, I think that I want to do this dark blue, I'm thinking, and then have moss on the front. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take Twilight, which is the dark matte blue, and I'm just going to put this under the lower lash line because I haven't seen this shade yet by itself, because when I used it in my first impressions I blended it with the mint, so it looked quite light, but wow, that is very deep. That is such a nice shade of blue. I'm going to wipe off that brush and I'm going to go, actually I'll use this little fluffy one. I'm going to wipe my fluffy brush and I'm going to take Sky, which is the sort of the blue up here, and I'm just going to fluff this a little bit to blend it just a little bit. We're going very blown out lower lash line apparently. These blues work like an absolute dream. Like, these blues are so lovely. They blend really, really well. I think I might actually put Ray and like wrap that around the front of my inner corners. I think. I know I keep using it in my inner corners, but it's the only like light inner corner-y shade. So I'm going to pop that down here. God, it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see that on camera. The camera really struggles to pick up like inner corner, but you see that? Super pretty. So this is the eyeshadow done. I'm going to pop off camera. I'm going to do my eyeliner, my mascara, some lipstick, and then I'll come back and I'll show you it, and I'll show you it up close and everything. So I'm going to go do that and then we'll regroup. Okay, so here is the look all complete and all put together. What do you think? So this is the eyeshadow. So to finish off my everything, I used the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Liner in Electric, Kiko Extra Sculpt Mascara as always, and the Melt Matte Lipstick in 710, which is like a really lovely like mustardy kind of shade. I love it, and I think it goes with my top as well, which I like. So yeah, this is the end of look number 3. Let's move on to look number 4. Hello and welcome to the 4th and final look. If my eyes look puffy or weird, it's because I literally just filmed look number 3 and I took it off, and I'm filming look number 4 now because it's Sunday, so it's my last day off before I go back to work tomorrow, and Kelvin's watching the football, so I've got nothing else to do, so I'm gonna film it now, and I'm gonna do something that I've not done. This makes it sound way crazier than it is, but like just like a colour combination that I've not done before. So what I'm thinking for this last look is that I really want to do a combination of red and like the tealy greens is what I'm sort of thinking. I know it's quite Christmas, but that's what I'm thinking. But I also want to incorporate maybe the mustard and the orange. So what I'm thinking is two-toned crease with the mustard going into the orange, deepened up with the red, and then I think I'm going to cut the crease and put moss on the lid, and then underneath the lower lash line I'm going to do leaf and lime. That's what I'm thinking. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but I think it'll be a fun one for the final look, and also just using some more of the shades that I haven't really used a lot of. So I'd like to just like give them all, you know, I want to give them all a really good go before I give you my final verdict. So I just wiped off a brush and I'm gonna start with Marigold, which is the mustard. I'm gonna start with that and I'm going to put this in the front of my crease. Am I less zoomed out than I have been? No, less zoomed in. I feel like that's sort of where I was. Hope that's all right. So yeah, I'm taking Marigold and I'm popping this up here. Gonna do this like really blown out, really smoky, as I always do. Blend my eyeshadow up into my eyebrows. It's just how I like it. Such a nice shade. Okay, and then in the outer corners, I'm gonna take the shade Sunrise. Just gonna use the same brush and I'm gonna wing this out, I think. So I'm just gonna put this out here like that. That was easy fucking peasy and that looks so nice. Like that took no effort at all. And they just like blended really nice. It's created a bit of a brown in the middle because it's like such a burnt orange with that like browny mustard. So it did make a brown, which is like that's just sort of, I guess, color theory. So, okay, so that's good for that. I'm gonna use the same brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Poppy, which is the really bright red. Such a stunning color, and I'm gonna put it in the outer corners, kind of try and keep it a little bit tighter so we still have that orange, but you know, it is more red. And then I'm just gonna wipe off that brush and go back with a little bit of Sunrise, which is the orange, and just bring it back in so we don't lose it completely. I am gonna deepen this up because the shade that I want to use on the lid is so dark. I feel like we need to balance that out with the matte. So I'm going to go into the shade Raw, which is the dark, like maroon shade. Oh, and I am gonna put this right on this area, just like my very outer corner. I'm not gonna blend it up. I just want it like a good amount of depth in that outer corner. Lovely. So we've got that really nice like fiery crease. So I'm gonna take a nice flat brush and my NYX glitter glue as always, and I'm gonna do a faux cut crease with the glitter glue. Now actually what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna put Ray on the inner corners and then into Moss, because I feel I haven't used Ray on glitter glue yet. I've just used it like in my inner corners and like on my lower lash line. Oh, it's very soft, so I've just kind of crushed it a little bit with my brush. It was a bit too heavy-handed there. Don't know my own strength. And I'm just gonna pop this on the front. Wow, that is so pretty. That's so pretty. And then I'm gonna take Moss, which is the darker green, and I'm going to pop that here. Like in the center, and then just kind of using the brush to kind of blend them together. And then I'm gonna take my brush that I used for like the dark red, and I'm just gonna blend over this edge. I think it looks cool. Like, it's definitely not a color combination I would usually go for, but I do quite like it. It's kind of gone a bit purpley as well. Like, I think I just need to bring the green a bit further around. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix Raw, which is the dark red, with the shade Twilight to kind of make a bit of a purple, and then use that to help blend out the green. Oh. created like a bit of like a maroony kind of shade, like more purple than red, but I like it. I actually think that looks quite cool, like grungy Christmas. I'm gonna quickly hop off camera. I'm gonna complete the top of this eye and then do my base, and then we can come back and we can do the lower lash line. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so that's my base done and both eyes done on the top. I love it. Like it's such a weird color combination, but like I think it looks really cool, like smoky, grungy Christmas is what I'm feeling with it, and I think it looks really nice. So we're going to work on the lower lash line now. For my lower lash line, I really want to use Leaf and Lime. So I'm going to take Leaf and I'm going to smoke this all along the outside of my lower lash line. I'm going to take it all along here. Do you know, I think it might be this shade that's the problem, the shade Leaf, because that is not wanting to stick to my lower lash line at all. And then I'm just going to take a pencil brush and the shade Lime, which is the lime green shimmer, pop that in the front of my lower lash line. Okay, I think that is it. Yeah, this Leaf shade, I think this is the dud, not Eucalyptus, because it's just not wanting to stick to my lower lash line at all. Like it's just picking up. Sorry, I've blended that out very far. I need to sort that out. But yeah, it's just kind of it's not sticking. That's the issue, is that it's not sticking, and it's like blending away. It's a bit patchy. Once I've got my eyeliner and mascara on, I'll show you like up close, but yeah, I'm gonna quickly go do that. Eyeliner, mascara, lipstick, and then we will regroup. So this is the look all complete, all put together. What do you think? I really like it. Like I think it's so cool. It's very different for me, but I really like it. So here is it up close. Obviously greens don't really blend into red, so it's not like the most amazing blend, but I really like it. But I don't know whether you'll be able to see my lower lash line. That Leaf shade just does not stick. I don't know what the best angle to show you at is, but it's patchy, it doesn't stick. And I kind of had that as well on my upper lid as well, which is a bit of a shame, but it's the one shadow I've had a problem with. So anyway, to finish up this look, I keep putting things back after I've used them. Finish up this look, I just popped on some of the Nicka K Auto eyeliner in Inchworm. It's a really bright lime green. Mascara is the Kiko Milano Extra Sculpt, and my lipstick is the Kaleidos Lip Clay in the shade Adobe, which is like a yellowy toned nude. Right, let's zoom out and we can chat about this palette. Okay, so let's talk about the Wilderness palette. I have now used, I think I've used every shade. In general, Colour Story is magical. I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful, grungy, colourful dream. Let's talk about the mattes. So obviously we've got like different colours of mattes in here. We've got the blues, the teals, the greens, and the like warm reds and orange. The blues, start with the blue mattes. Blend like a dream. They're super pigmented, super intense, but they blend so easily on the eyes. I've used them in multiple different ways now, and I just think they look amazing on the eyes. Like they blend really well, and I find that dark blues are quite hard to formulate, but this shade Twilight, which is the dark blue, just blended so well, so easy. I absolutely love it. The teals and the mints, again, no problem with those at all. They blended so well, so pigmented, again, so easy to work with. They all worked with each other really well, and the teals blended really well with the blues. They just worked in conjunction beautifully. And the reds and the orange also blend beautifully. Like so easy, so easy to work with. They looked so good, they blended so well. You saw how easy it was to blend that orange and the red and the mustard together. So like include the mustard in this as well. The mustard is gorgeous and blends so well. The only mattes I had issues with were Leaf and Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus doesn't layer very well. So if you are like me and you like to go lightest to darkest, Eucalyptus isn't going to work for you that way. However, it works really well to be the first shade that you put on and then blend it out, rather than trying to blend it on top of a lighter shadow. When I tried to blend it on top of a lighter shadow, it just kind of blended away. It became quite patchy. It didn't really want to stick. But when it was already packed on the eye and then blended out, it worked really well. It worked a lot better than it did the first time I used it. And definitely I just think there's a technique to this one. The shade Leaf, however, I would say is probably the only shade in this palette that I just don't like. When I used it, I filmed a look the other day that I'm not including in this video, where I basically did the same look as look number 2, but the shade Leaf was blending away. It was patchy. It was not working very well, but I just thought it's like late at night, I've already worn makeup once a day, I'll give it another try. And that look number 2 was giving it its second go. Definitely worked better, but it was clinging to places and it wasn't blending as well as I would like it to. And today as well, using it on my lower lash line, it's just not sticking, it's just blending away. Maybe this shadow would be one that would work much better with a much stickier base. The eyeshadow primer that I use kind of dries down my lids rather than making it sticky, because I use it for oil prevention rather than like pigmentation purposes. So maybe it would work better on a sticky base, packing it on and then maybe blending it with the shade Snow. But personally for me, I feel like a shade like that, that's light enough like that, should be able to pack and blend on its own. So I am quite disappointed in that shade. However, of all the mattes, it's the only one I have an issue with. But I do have other greens in my collection that are the same sort of shade as this, that work so much better. So I don't necessarily feel really sad by it, because I do have other things, but it's just such a shame because I feel like a lot of people were drawn to this palette because of the greens. And for one of the greens to not really work very well is disappointing. Now, the shimmers in this palette. The shimmers in this palette are where it just shines. I love the Beauty Bay shimmer formula that's in these 20 pan eyeshadow palettes. It's soft, it's creamy, it's sparkly, it's beautiful. I love the shade Ocean so much. That was absolutely gorgeous I used it in my first impressions. And the shade Moss is also absolutely stunning. Like, I just love these shimmers. I'm excited to use this palette because I want to use these shimmers. They're so stunning. I would say because they are like that creamy consistency, they do crease on the lids. Personally, I don't see that as an issue because I will just pat the creases out. It's not a issue that isn't solvable for me, but if that's something that might irritate you, that the shimmers don't stay completely like crease proof across the lid, then maybe keep that in mind. Overall, I really like this palette. I've really enjoyed playing with it. I've really enjoyed the looks that I've got from it. It's just like my favorite thing. This like grungy, colorful dream. I really love it. I love like murky, colorful shadows. So to me, I'm really happy that I have this. Do I think it could be better? Yes, if that leaf shade worked the same way as the like other mattes in this palette, this might have become like right now would be my favorite eyeshadow palette. But unfortunately that does kind of let me down because it was one of the shades in the palette that I was so excited about because I love olivey murky green eyeshadows. But other than that, I do really like it. I really like it, and it's definitely shot up into like my top favorites. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on this palette, so please leave them down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. Do you want it? Do you not want it? What are you using instead? Is there any other videos you would like to see from me on this palette? I'm definitely going to be doing a video basically comparing it to the Muerte palette. I don't own the Muerte palette, so I'll be doing it on pictures, but I want to compare it and see if I can create very similar looks. But yeah, I'd love to know. Let's chat. But yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. That would be really cool. And as always, eat good, drink good, take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.